Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Destiny Plans. So today I'm so excited and I am so over the top with this one and I know it. But I've got my 2026 goals. They're all written out. Now, I do want you to understand that when I went through and I made this list, some of my goals actually feed into essentially my top goals. So I just want to preface this entire video with that information. Because when I put this piece of paper down, it's going to look like there's a billion things. And technically there is 114 items listed. However, like I said, some of the goals that I wrote out feed directly into my ultimate and or biggest goal for that particular category. So here is my paper. Here is my 2026 goals. So like I said, there are a ton of items in here. This year, I really spent a lot of time kind of focusing on myself and taking care of myself and learning the ways that I need to take care of myself in order to do all of the things that I want to do. Now, I'm not going to say that I've achieved every single goal. I mean, currently it is September of 2025, so I have not hit all of my goals. I think I've finished maybe one or two of them. But like the 52 books, I am on book, I want to say I'm on book 34, 35 right now. And I'm on pace to finish a week early, so that's perfectly fine. I'm so good with that. I'm not rushing through the current book that I'm reading. I'm just kind of pacing myself because, again, I am doing a lot of pre-planning for next year because I have to pre-do some of these things in order to be able to function. So, and when I say that, I'm talking about things like setting up the layout structure in my planner. I have to do that before I actually start writing in my week. And then I like to go back in and highlight and color code everything in my planner so that way I don't have to think as much. But like I said, the goals on here that are highlighted, those are my main focus goals. And then some of these other items are like ad lib or they just feed into these bigger goals. So for family, I've got on here that I want to go on a road trip. We've never taken the kids on a road trip before, so that's something that we want to do. We've gone like short distances, but only like literally like a couple of hours. And it was to see family. We didn't go on a true road trip with like multiple stops and seeing like any of the cool things you can see in the States. And then I want to continue monthly time with each kid. Now, this was not perfect this year either, and I don't think it ever will be, especially because we have a teenager in the house, and there are times when she simply does not want to spend time with us, and that's okay. We let her have her space, and we go do whatever it is we feel like doing that day. But I think having time with each kid was good for all of us, so I want to continue doing that. Family time weekly. This can be something as small as like making dinner together, like literally having the whole family in the kitchen making dinner. This could be playing a round of Uno, watching a movie together. So it's not anything super strenuous. Now, other times, yeah, it might be a little bit more of an in-depth activity. If we go on a hike, that typically takes some prep work. If we decide to get up and take our dog to one of the pet stores, that tends to be more of an event. It's not something that we do on a regular basis. One, because our dog is really, really old, and two, because he likes to pick out the world's largest, most expensive bone in the store. And I love him to pieces, but that gets pricey really fast. I do want to make it a goal in the next year because my daughter is in those teenage years, so I want to help her start a business of her own, something like babysitting, dog walking, house sitting, something like that, something that I know she's responsible enough to handle. But I want her to have one of those first experiences of of having her own job with an income and handling some of that type of responsibility. Limiting time with draining people. I feel like it's always been a struggle. I think it's a struggle that everybody goes through. But I just feel like this year I have allowed too much of that draining personnel to be in my life. And next year, I don't want to do that. I want to limit that, and I want to nip it in the bud so that way I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on this. Because again, some of my goals really did truly get derailed a lot this year. And I don't prefer that like anyone else who sets goals, but I know that I'm only one person. So I can only do what I can do. But limiting time with draining people, I think, is very beneficial to me, to my goals, to my sanity. The next one, and I'm going to go through all of the more important goals first. Family camping trips. We want to do this 5 times this year. Or next year. This year I think we did 4 different camping trips. And it was super fun. We had a great time. We really, really love camping. And then I also want to have my son attend 2 play dates a month. Sometimes he'll have like friends over, or like we'll go to events and he'll see friends and things like that. But he has been more interested in hanging out with his friends. So just want to give him a little extra support there. And then the other items that I have are like family vacation. I do want to create a relaxation station. I want to work on like emotional intelligence with my children. So that's something that I want to create. Car clean out monthly, have family over once a month, host a board game night every other month, go on a fishing trip every month as weather permits, hang out with friends monthly, have a favorites day. I'm not sure if this one's necessarily going to happen or be a high priority. Just where it would just be like a day where each person in the household gets to pick either their favorite dinner. We'll do like the activity they want to do that day, that type of thing. And then I do want us to watch a documentary a month. My daughter is into true crime, but my 8-year-old son is not. So I think we'll do more like nature and science documentaries, just to like pump some knowledge in while we're hanging out. Themed dinners once a month. So we started off really strong with this year. And I think the first 4 months or so, we did 2 a month. But when it got chaotic towards the middle of the year, it really fell on the back burner. And I just realized that it was just too much to do twice a month. So, because it does take a lot of planning, and then some of the recipes, like there's extra steps and things like that. So I'm not just throwing together dinner, but once a month, because they were really fun. I think once a month would be great. And then I want to try a new recipe every week. But I think with the new recipes, I really want to try utilizing what we already have versus going out and shopping for every ingredient for a new recipe. In my marriage, I want to continue having 2 date nights a month. Because in the past, we've been really, really bad about that, where we would just not go on date nights and we would just kind of be trudging through the days and just doing what we had to do. And I feel like the date nights were really, really nice, but also very important for us to be alone together without the kids and stuff like that. I do want to do 2 weekend trips for us next year. I don't know exactly what those would look like, but I'm thinking one of those will just be a weekend camping trip, which would be fabulous to just be us 2. And then our 8-year anniversary is next year, so want to celebrate that. And then I want to start walking together once a week, because I already walk a lot as it is, for me personally, but my husband does not. So I think that would be something great for us to do together. And then an active service for each other once a week, and then weekly meetings to stay on the same page. I think that might help well, maybe. We'll try the weekly meetings and see how it works out. My husband has an issue with remembering the things that he's told about, just because he's not the one that planned them, or he doesn't have like the big calendar in his office. But anywho, so we'll try that and see if that works for us, just to help kind of try not to forget some information. Now for personal development, my top items for personal development, I want to read 4 self-help books. I want to iron out my 1-year, 5-year, and 10-year plans. My 1-year plan is solid. My 5 and 10-year plans are not. So I want to get those solidified, and I want to keep track of them in my planner. I'll probably use some of the back pages for that. I want to have morning, midday, and evening routines, which I actually did go through and make these routines. So I'll probably make a separate video for that, just to show you guys like what my morning, afternoon, and evening look like. I'm trying so hard to implement that towards the end of this year so that then at the start of next year, I'm already starting to have that as a routine. So it's not as difficult in the beginning to iron out that plan, that routine, whatever. I just want to give myself a little bit of a head start on that because it is a lengthy, it's a lengthy routine, because of all the things that I'm trying to fit in at the different points in the day. I'm doing really good with like my weight loss and my health and all of that good stuff. But I want to make it more of a routine versus just like things on a to-do list, essentially. I want to learn to aim my handgun. So some number of years ago, my husband and I both bought each other firearms for Christmas. I bought him a shotgun. He bought me my handgun. And I've yet to learn to aim said handgun. And I didn't realize how horrendous my aiming was until we went out to the hunting property and I shot it and could not hit the target to save my life. So I'm just, if I already have the firearm, I feel like I should know how to use it if there ever was an intruder in my house. Rather than, not being able to aim it. I just feel like that's a logical step. So that's something I'm planning on learning next year. I do want to start monthly and weekly reflections. This is very close to journaling, and I have a really, really hard time with journaling. Because like the first few days I will journal, and then after that I will just be like, I'd rather read. I'll write it down tomorrow. And then tomorrow becomes 6 months from now and we never went back to it. So I have a hard time with that. And I do feel like there are certain things that I would like to write down and reflect on, not only to get it out of my head, but also because then I can look back and I can see this is where I was this time last year. This is where I am today. And then I want to also break 12 bad habits. So all of those things I think are my high priority goals, my must-haves. And then these other items that are not highlighted are all just kind of things I'd like to do or things that will assist me in facilitating these others. So positive affirmations daily. That is something that I'm building into my morning routine and my evening routine. And I think that will help me go, like, get up in the morning, ready to go, kind of set my mood for the day. And then in the evenings, it will set my mood before I sleep. So that I think will be helpful to a couple of the, especially the routines. Learning 6 new skills, take 2 classes a month. I'm going to do monthly challenges again in 2026. Some of the challenges I had a lot harder of a time with than I thought I would. Like the creativity challenge. Oh my goodness. I think I did like 1 or 2 days of that one because I could not find the time in my day to sit down and like do some sort of craft or creative activity that wasn't like coloring or doodling or practicing hand lettering. That was hard. So I don't think I'll do that specific month again. But I do want to do monthly challenges. I think in January I did like a YouTube video workout every day, and that one went awesome. and it helped me like kickstart like my weight loss for the year. So that was great. I want to volunteer 6 times next year. I want to write down daily wins. Again, this goes back to like that reflection, because I want to change my mindset to be a little bit more positive versus, okay, that part of the day sucked. This part of the day was whatever. Like, I would just want to be a little bit more focused and conscious of the internal voice that I'm using. I want to view my vision board daily. I've also built this into my routines. So right now on my walls in my office, I have a giant wall calendar. I have a like cork board with like pictures all over it and stuff my kids have drawn for me. And then the other board, it's like a whiteboard, and I have all of my trackers for my goals up there on that board. So every time I finish a book, I go update the little grid that I made to track my books. Every time I go swimming, I go and I mark out the box for that swimming session, because it's a goal to swim once a week for every week that it's warm, that the pool's open. So that's how I track my goals, and seeing them visually helps remind me day in and day out, hey, remember these things we're working for. I don't really want to go swimming today, but I'm gonna go swimming today because it's September. So at the end of this month, the pool will close and I will no longer be able to swim. So I wanna make sure that I get the last swimming sessions in so that I hit that goal. Master effective communication. Just like with anybody else, I get frustrated. And sometimes when I'm frustrated, I'm not communicating well. Or I'm just pissy and I sound pissy. Therefore, no matter what I say, the message is not getting through to the other person. So I want to work on that. I want to increase my patience. Again, I do get frustrated just like any other person. Sometimes I feel like I'm working out and burning calories every 3 seconds, but the weight is not falling off as fast as I would like for it to. And that is all part of me needing to master my patience. I know that I will get there. I know that I'm on the right track because I am losing weight. I am getting physically stronger. I am increasing my endurance in cardio areas. Just because it's not as fast as I want it to be doesn't mean that I'm doing it wrong or that I need to eat even less calories or anything like that. It just means I need to be patient because it is a process, like most things in life. I also want to reduce screen time. I spend a lot of time on my phone. Yes, a lot of my time is reading. There is also a video game I like to play on there. There's also texting and emails and Teams meetings and notifications that I'm constantly checking. But again, I would like to reduce the amount of time that I'm spending doom scrolling, either on Facebook or on YouTube or on Shorts or on TikTok, because my parents sent me TikToks and I can't not watch the TikToks they sent me. But then sometimes I scroll and I'm like, oops, 30 minutes later, my bad. Truly, because this year I'm really not gonna have a lot of time for that. I really have to stay like laser focused on these things if I want to accomplish as many of these goals as I possibly can. I do want to implement a skincare routine and stick with it. I am a basic girly. I don't do I'm not gonna do like a 20-step routine. I mean, it's not gonna happen. At best, we've got like wash, moisturize, and like tone, and that's it. Maybe I'm gonna have to do some research on that because I don't have a lot of issues with like acne or anything, so I don't think I'll need a ton of steps, but all at the same time I do want to have healthy skin. I want to focus. I really want to make sure that I'm changing my sheets every week or every other week. Just because sometimes I forget and then I keep forgetting. I keep putting it off. Let me be honest. I keep putting it off. I'm procrastinating. I want to stop doing that because I feel a lot better the cleaner that my sheets are. And I also want to practice some grounding techniques, not just for me, but also because that's something that can help both of my kids. So I want to really practice and learn and pass on to them those grounding techniques. Okay, now for professional development, I do want to finish writing my book. I started earlier this year. I do want to print and bind my first planner. I want to create an online course completely focused around planning. And then I would absolutely love to hit 1,000 subscribers. Other than those high priority items, I want to learn 12 work-related skills, study conflict resolution techniques, practice video editing, and learn basic coding. Which actually, now that I'm looking at it, these last 3 could actually be considered 3 of these 12 goals, or 12 skills, sorry. So that's, again, like I said, this was like all of the things, because when I write my goals out, I like to be as specific as possible. So that's kind of how I got the list I got. Now for my financial goals, I want to add an income stream. I want to add a side hustle of some sort. I want to add $12,000 to my savings and pay off $6,000 in debt. So completely separately, that's like $18,000 worth of goals money. I do want to get a raise, which getting a raise would overall increase my income, which would allow me to better be able to do these 2 goals. So that should be perfect. These 2 goals, only eating out twice a month. Again, that would help with these 2 goals and staying on track with the budget. Having the monthly budget meeting. I won't lie, we have slacked off on that a little bit this year just because whenever the first falls, it depends, and it's very hard to do it after that. Like if it's in the middle of the week, it can be a pain to have that meeting in the middle of the week. We do want to start a sinking fund for our AC and also replacing one of our cars. We do want to have 2 no-spend months. So a no-spend month is where you pay like all of your bills, but you don't spend anything outside of what is budgeted, and then everything else gets pushed into your savings. And then we also want to increase our 401k contributions, and that's all of our finance goals. Now, for happiness, I put a category for happiness because this is more geared towards me and myself. So my high priority goals for happiness are self-care twice a week. So this can be anything from sitting in a bubble bath for an hour to a facial to an everything shower to taking myself out to go buy a good smelling candle. It could be just about anything, just whatever I need in that moment. Sometimes I literally need to exit my house and go to the store and buy a snack for myself. Sometimes that's what I need. Sometimes I need to walk out of my front door and go for a 5-mile hike. Or if I'm at a 10-mile hike, it just varies. I do want to get a massage once a month. I do want to take myself on a solo trip next year for the weekend. I was actually thinking about potentially renting one of the cabins where we like to camp, because they're super cute little cabins, and when I tell you, it is so quiet and serene out there. It's wonderful. I do want to take myself out on a date once a month, just me by myself. Again, this could be something as simple as driving to the park and sitting in the trees, or going for a hike, or locking myself in my office and playing video games all day. I feel like all day is a stretch for me though. And then I want to have a home spa night once a month. So, you know, that's like things like a facial, like that's like, you know, shaving and moisturizing and all of those wonderful things that I don't have time to do every single night. Now, for happiness, there's a lot of other items that are on here that are important to me, but not the highest priorities. So like drinking tea every day. We have so much tea in this house because we are avid tea drinkers, but we neglect to drink it a lot of the time. So I do want to start drinking tea daily, and I have added it to my routine. I want to clean my desk at the end of every workday. One of my biggest pet peeves is that I somehow manage to let my desk get so cluttered and crowded with random stuff everywhere that then when I'm coming in here and I'm like getting ready to do a video, it's messy. So I have to clean it up. Then I have to prep for my video. Then I can actually record my video. And it just makes it a little bit harder for me to sit down and record when I want to. Write down a positive thought a day, which oddly enough, write down daily wins and positive affirmations daily are all kind of the same thing, which is totally okay. That's totally fine. That just means that I'm thinking about this for more than one category. And that's perfect because that tells me that it's something that I really want to do. Also, I want to read 26 books next year. This year I did 52. Next year I want to cut it down to 26 because I have a lot of other items I really want to focus on. And I'm not going to stop reading by any means. But I just want to make sure that I'm still able to do these other things as well. Okay, and then, of course, after the 26 books, I do want to watch 200 movies, and this is something that I want to record and track because I do already watch a lot of movies. A lot of times, though, I put them on in the background and don't really pay attention to them because it's stuff I've already watched. So this year, I do want to make a list of all the movies that I watch, and then just so I can kind of look back and see what I watched when it came out, etc. The next one is digital detox once a week. And again, this reinforces my reducing of screen time. So that's a recurring trend. And I may narrow down this list just to kind of not have as many. Because I don't know if I really want to put this in my planner. But if I redo that, I'll show you guys when we get started next year with the planner and everything. But I do also have a much larger planner next year than I did for this year. So digital detox once a week. I do want to join a club. I just don't know what kind of club yet. I live in more of a rural area, so there's not, I mean, we're surrounded by like multiple farms and stuff other than just our neighborhood. So that's a work in progress because I'm not sure what I have available to me that isn't like I've seen some like mommy and me classes, but my kids are too old for that. None of them are babies or toddlers and strollers and stuff. So, we'll see. I do want to find a new hiking trail that is near us because we kind of stick with the same hiking trail. I love it. It is a fantastic trail. However, I would like to have a backup if needed. I also want to meditate daily, and this has also been added to my routines. And I want to learn photography if I can. And then I have minimalize and declutter my life, but I feel like those are kind of the same thing. Right now, I just want to make sure that the house is, like everything has a place and it's not cluttered and there's not, you're not tripping over stuff or having a hard time putting it away because there's too much stuff. So that's something that we did start this year. We just did not finish because, again, about midway through the year, we got very, very derailed by some life events. But that moves me on to fitness. So I want to lose another 50 pounds. Currently, I'm down 41 pounds, but I do have the remainder of the year to go. I do want to climb the highest peak in Texas. This was on this year's goals, but that trip ended up having to get canceled, so that's okay. I can always do it next year, plus I will be a lot more physically capable of doing it next year, so I'm not mad about it necessarily. I would have loved to do it this year, but such is life. So this year I want to walk 365 miles and I want to bike 365 miles. Right now I'm biking like twice a week, but I walk basically every day. I also want to track all my food and water, and then my weekly workouts. I would like to lift like 4 times a week, bike ride 3 times a week, yoga, kickboxing once a week. Oh, yoga, dance, yoga, and kickboxing once a week. And then walking 7 times a week because I'm doing it daily. And then just stretch sessions like 4 times a week, which while the stretch, I wouldn't necessarily consider that like a workout, but it is going to be something that I have to stop and do. So I am putting it on there. This might seem like a lot. Like weightlifting might be an hour. Bike ride is probably going to be like 20 minutes, maybe. Kickboxing, maybe 30 minutes. Walking, it usually only takes me about 20 minutes to walk a mile. If I'm walking, I don't speed walk. Let me just be clear. And then stretching could be like 15 minutes. So my goal right now on my watch is set, I think, to work out for an hour a day. So I'll probably be doing more than that, which is totally fine because I totally need to be hitting this stuff. And some of it is just fun. Like the dance is fun. Yoga helps me with like the flexibility. Stretching helps me with recovery. Kickboxing, if I ever, in the off chance need to knock somebody out, like we'll have those skills. It'll be great. I am joking, mostly. Okay, so the other fitness goals that I have, some of which feed into these other goals, I do want to bench press 200 pounds by the end of next year. I want to deadlift 300 pounds by the end of next year. Currently, I can deadlift 205. So not too much. I mean, like we're about 100 pounds off. With bench, I'm at like 101. So I'd like to increase those numbers. Run 2 consecutive miles. This may change because I have not yet run my consecutive miles so far this year. And at present, I have a back injury that I'm recovering from, so there will be no running at all. I want to continue with my progress photos and measurements. That is something that I've done every month so far this year, and I love going back and seeing my very first photo. I love seeing how far I've come, and it really is a really great motivator to help me see my progress even when I look in the mirror and I can't see it. Because when I look back at those photos, I can really see it. I do want to do the fitness challenge every month. And I'll pick out and make a list of those. I do want to take an exercise class every month. I have started my vitamins and supplements every day. I want to continue swimming weekly when it's during the warm months, which is about 46 swim sessions roughly. I go through and I select the months when it opens, and then I count each week. I do want to learn to play pickleball. I bought a set this year. I just have not played yet, nor do I know how. I want to run a 12-minute mile. I want to take an archery class, build a nutrition plan, run a 5K, which actually, that reminds me, in November of this year, 2025, I am doing a walk to a suicide prevention walk. So that I'm very excited about. Run a 5K. There's a 4-week program that I found online that I want to try. It's like couch to 5K situation. I want to bike 10 miles. I want to improve my posture. I want to eat 5 fruits and veggies per day. I want to stretch every morning. Again, this was built into my routine. And then I want to eat vegetarian meals twice a week, like dinners. Again, this is what I've got so far for 2026. I know this looks like a ton, but like I said, a lot of these items some of them are just the same, but in multiple areas. Some of them are, I want to lose another 50 pounds. Here's how I'm going to do it type of thing. So I likely will come out with like my goals master list, and then have like those high priority items on there, and then build out the plan from there with the rest of these. And then that way I can then in my planner break it down to what do I need to do this week to achieve these goals. So I'll be working on that in the coming months and getting my planner set up and everything. And I'll keep you guys along for the ride so you guys can see what all I've got planned. let me know what you guys are planning goals-wise for next year. I'm all about the goals. Clearly, I might have gotten a little carried away with some of this. But again, just let me know what you guys have planned for yourselves for next year. I hope you guys got some great ideas, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.